Hi everyone, I wanted to give a quick tutorial on how to create and use a Google form with your classes. We're going to do a Google form from scratch today, and I'll go through some of the basics and turning it into a quiz. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. So from your drive, you can go to create Google Forms in two ways. You can go to the New button and come down to More and go to Google Forms. This is the way I typically do it. It's just a preference. Or you can go up to your waffle and you can go to More and go to the Forms icon. Just a preference, however you like to do it. I'm going to go through the New button and I'm going to go to Google Forms. You'll get a blank form here, and the way you can start it is just by giving it a title. So I'm going to call it Practice Form, just because that's what I'm doing right now, but you can call it whatever you like. You might want to spell it correctly. And you'll give it a title. Once you give it a title here, you can just click right up here where it said Untitled Form, and it will change the title of the form to whatever you titled it. Just right up here, you just click there and it changes it. Here in Form Description, you can give directions to your students. Let's say you're going to make a quiz out of this form. You can give directions, whatever you want to tell them. And then you can start creating questions. So here you would just click on where it says Untitled Question, and you will start your first question. A lot of people want to know the student's name, so you might make this your name. And then what's going to happen with the new Google Forms is that it's going to guess what type of question you want to ask based on what your question is. Sometimes it's correct and sometimes it's not. In this case, I would make this a short answer question, but if you click on this drop-down arrow right here, you can have lots of different question types to choose from. So you can make it short answer, you can make it a paragraph, you can make it multiple choice, you can make it checkboxes where they can choose more than one answer, you can make it a drop-down question where they would choose from a drop-down menu, you can do a file upload and they can upload files to answer the question. You can do a linear scale, 1 to 5, or whatever numbers you want to choose there. A multiple choice grid, which would be rows and columns of answers that they could choose from. They could also do a date answer. So if you were asking for the date of a certain battle or something like that, or when something was discovered, you could use that type of question. And you can use a time question. They could choose a time for whatever reason you might want that to happen. Maybe in a survey you would ask for a specific time that someone's available or something like that. Maybe not so much for a quiz. So those are the types of questions you can ask. As you sort of just hover by where the question is, you'll see this little image icon. If you click on it, you can actually add an image in to the form. If you search through a Google product like this, where I clicked on the image icon and got this search page, any image that comes up is going to be not copyright protected, so you can use it without citing the source. So I'm just going to put a picture of a snowy day, since we're having snow right now, and it comes out right here. So if this is something you wanted to add into your question, you can make it smaller, or scale it if you like, just by clicking on the picture and then grabbing one of these handles on the corners and making it a little bit smaller. So if you wanted them to look at a picture before they answer the question or while they're answering the question, you can have them do that. You can center that picture if you like, or make it right aligned, or change it or remove it. You can also add a caption, and you can say snowy field or whatever you want to make it say. As with all Google products, everything is being saved. It tells you right here, all changes saved in Drive, so you don't have to worry about losing anything that you're working on. So I'm going to change this to a checkboxes question. And then to add the options for the answers that the children would choose from, you could just put them in here. So answer 1, and then answer 2, and so on and so forth. And you can put it in. You can also put images next to each answer choice if you would like them to have something to look at as they answer. Lastly, you can choose to add other as an answer choice, or you can take that away and have just the 2 answers or however many answers you put in. If you put in an incorrect answer and you want to take it away, you just click on the X and it goes away. No problem. Down here, you can now duplicate this question. So if you click on that, you're going to get the next question is going to be a duplicate, and you can edit it. You can also delete it if you hate the question and you messed up or whatever. You can delete it. You can also make this a required question, and if you make it required, that means that the students will have to answer, or whoever you're asking to fill out the form will have to answer this question before exiting or submitting the form. And then here, these 3 dots, you can show a description of what this question is. So you can give them sort of a subtitle or some directions on how to answer this question, for example, or you can choose to not have that description there. You can also do data validation, and that would be you're telling them that they have to choose at least a certain number. So here they might have 4 answer choices, and you want them to select 2 at maximum. You don't want them to select more than 2, because then they'd be wrong answering the question. So those are some options. And then here you can shuffle the options as they answer. If 2 students are sitting next to each other and they're taking this as a quiz, the options will be shuffled as they're answering. So it helps to combat cheating. So now if you look at how the questions are being formed, each question is on what sort of like a card, a virtual card, and these 6 dots right up here are kind of the handle for the card. So if you grab that card and you drag it down, you can change around how the questions are appearing in your form. So the title of the form will stay the same, but you can change the order of the questions within the form that way. Over here, this bar, you have the option to add a question by choosing the plus sign. You have an option to add a title and description at any point. So this would not be a question, this would be a title to maybe another section that you're creating. So you have your name, and now you want to tell them the rest of what you want to do for this quiz. You're not going to add a question with a title. Here you can add an image at any time. You can add it within the question. You can also add it from here. You can add a video. So if you wanted them to look at a video and make it a video related question, you can do that. You would just click on here. It brings you out to YouTube and you can find it, or you can type in your own YouTube URL here. The videos do have to be from YouTube in order to insert them with this icon. And then sections. So one of the reasons you might create a separate section in a form is because what you have once you have another section is almost like if you picture doing maybe a page break or something in a quiz, you would have a separate piece of paper. If it was a hard copy, this is sort of a virtual separate piece of paper, and you can choose here. So let's say you had 3 sections. Let me add another one in so you can see it. So after they complete section 1, and section 1 is just asking them for their name, then I might want them to go directly to section 3, or I might want them to continue to the next section. And you can make those options, so you can have it sort of mixed up. You can go to section 3, and then after section 3, you can have them go to section 2, and you can have these options when you create sections in your form. And that would just be something that you would decide to do once you've played with it a little bit and it meets your needs. So those are all options there. Now if we come up to the top, you probably don't have this puzzle piece unless you put an add-on in your forms already. So we're going to ignore that for 1 second. We'll go to this color palette. This is where you change this bar up here to different colors. So you can choose just a totally different color, or you can go to the image icon down here in the right-hand corner, and you can choose a background that Google has provided. I like the illustrations options, but you can choose whatever you like. And once you select a theme, and since we're on the snowy theme, I'll see if I can find that snowy theme. Here we have some snowmen. You would select it and then click select, and it will change your background for you. Here, this eye is actually a preview button, so when you click on that, you'll see what the form looks like to someone who will be filling out the form. So you can see if you like what it looks like, if you don't. In order to close this preview, you would just go up to the tab that was just opened and close it. You could also just edit the form from the preview page. So if I click on this little pencil, edit the form, I go back into editing mode. If you come up here and you go to settings, this is an important piece. So here in general, If you want to collect people's email addresses, this way you have a list of people's email addresses who completed your form, you can do that. You can allow your recipients to get a response receipt. After they submit their form, they can ask to get a receipt that they submitted their form, or you can just say everybody's getting that response receipt. You can choose to have only Bergenfield Board of Education users submit the form, and that's useful when you're doing a quiz. You want the students to use their Bergenfield email addresses or their Google sign-in to complete your form. You can limit it to just one response per student or per person, and they will be required to sign in order to do that. You can allow them to edit their form after they submit it. You can allow them to see a summary chart and text responses after they submit their form. Also, you can go to the presentation tab here, and you can show a progress bar so they can see how far along they are in the quiz or the survey. You can shuffle the question order. This is very useful if you're doing a quiz and two students are sitting next to each other. You shuffle them up so that they don't, they can try to not copy, or if they copy off each other, they might be wrong. And you can type a little message here that the students or whoever's filling out your form will see once they submit the form. So you just type it right in there in the confirmation message. The other part that's important in this is quizzes. So if you want to turn this form into a quiz, you just go here to the quizzes tab and you select this toggle switch, make this a quiz, and you will assign point values on the questions. And you can decide, are you going to let the students have a grade? The form is going to grade the quiz for you. So are you going to let the students see it right after they submit it, they see their grade? Or are you going to review all the grades before you allow them to see their grades? That's totally up to you. And then you can decide this. So they can see missed questions so that they'll be seeing which questions they answered incorrectly. You can allow them or not allow them to see the correct answer for each question. And you can allow them or not allow them to see the point values for each question. Totally optional, up to you. Once you've done this, this is one of the times where you have to click Save in a Google product. So you want to do that. And now we go to the questions. Once it's turned into a quiz, you'll see this little answer key link down here. You want to click on that, and you want to give it points. So let's say this is a 5-point question. You put in the 5 points, and you'll also choose which are the correct answers. I only have one answer choice here, so that's the correct answer. But if you had 5 and you wanted 2 answers correct, you would choose which answers. This is your answer sheet. So you're creating your answer sheet here. You can edit your question here, and you can also add answer feedback. So if a student gets it incorrect, this question, you can type in something that says to the student, that's incorrect. Why did you choose that answer, or something like that. And if they get it correct, you can say something to the student that lets them know that they got it correct. You can also add a link to show them maybe more information. Maybe if they got it incorrect, you want to add a link here and show them, I don't know, something they can study so that they'll know it for next time. You want to click Save again, and then that becomes your quiz. Up here is very important. After you send your quiz out or your survey out, you're going to get responses. So sending, right up here in the upper right hand corner again, that send button, you can choose to email this quiz out, but our students do not have access to their email, so it doesn't make sense to do that. The easiest thing to do is go to the link, and here's the link to this form. You can shorten it, you can copy it here, and you can paste it into your Google Classroom. You can paste it into your Homework Now page. You can put it up on your Smartboard or your Promethean board and let the students type it in to get to the quiz and then take the quiz. So that's totally up to you, but that's how you get it out to the students. And then these 3 dots here, these are other options for Google Forms, and these are things that you'll probably see in other Google products as well. Okay, I'm running out of time on this recording, so I'm not going to be able to go through all of these options, but I hope this was really helpful. This is the add-on puzzle piece, and I can definitely talk to you more about that if you have questions about it. Please contact me directly, and I'm happy to work with you more on forms. But I hope this clarifies some questions you might have. I hope you use them well, and your students enjoy using them. I think once you're really comfortable with forms, you're going to really like using them. I use them all the time. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.